So today we'll going to start the session from where we have left yesterday, and now I find out lots of questions related to yesterday's uh, hands-on that we have done. So definitely today we'll take more questions, and maybe we'll wind up at least 10 minutes before, so that we'll take all your questions. Now today we are going to start with the same that we have left, is about the cloud. So today's session is all dedicated to the cloud and cloud computing. So let's start. Now yesterday we have gone through from here. So yeah, so we have seen what is cloud computing is, and how it actually works, and what are the usefulness of cloud. So that thing we have seen yesterday. Today we'll move on to, yeah, the characteristics of the cloud also we have gone through. Why we have gone through these characteristics is you should know that if there is a cloud service provider, definitely it will have those essential characteristics. Otherwise, what is that is they are not actually in the standard of cloud computing providers. So this standard is given by NIST, as we have discussed yesterday, and it is very essential. So if you want to create a private cloud for your institutions, so you should also make sure that these all these essential characteristics should be there with you. Now today we are going to see services model and deployment model of cloud. So what is a service model? So generally we have three type of services which are provided by cloud. Now the first service is called infrastructure as a service. We'll start from the bottom. So first service will take as infrastructure as a service. So in the infrastructure as a service, we have some examples like we are creating virtual machines or servers, storage, load balancer, and network that will be here in infrastructure as a service. The second service is called platform as a service. Here we are looking for executing runtime databases, web servers, and development tool. So it is very famous among developers, the platform as a service. And the last one is software as a service. Software as a service is used by layman. Layman means we in day-to-day life we generally use it. So if we are using some CRM software, if you are using the email, if you are use some virtual desktop, and if you'll use some games and all, you'll use the Google Drive, right? You'll use Facebook. All those comes under software as a service. So they will provide you the software to use this. If you want to use Oracle, let's say you don't want to install the Oracle in your system and you want to use the Oracle, you want to do the query on the Oracle software, you want to create the database, so that you can do that. It is very much easy. And in the client side we should have all those things, right? Without without computing resources, how you can interact with any of the services? So you should have some thin client, and you should have some web browser, you should have some terminal, so that you can connect in these services. Let's talk about all those services in detail so that you can understand it, what are those services are. Let's see this particular diagram and try to understand what it says. So you just see the first one where we have on premises. Let's say you have a server with you, okay? So what you have to do? Server means you have a computing resource. So what you have to do? So ultimately, as I told you, these cloud are nothing but the computing resource. Okay, some computing device. So if let's say you have the computing device with you, so what you have to do, what you have to manage. Okay, so what you have to manage, so you have to manage the networking part, you have to manage its storage, you have to manage its servers part, you have to manage its virtualization, its operating system, what you want to install, its middleware, its runtime applications, data, and then we have some different um, application software, right? So all these things you have to configure, you have to manage, and all those is the burden of you, as well as you have to buy those expensive servers. Now let's talk about if we want some services according to our need from the cloud, so what we have to do. So the first thing that we'll see is infrastructure as a service. Now, what is infrastructure as a service? So once we say infrastructure, it means the cloud service provider will provide you basic networking. What they will provide you? Basic networking. It means they will provide you the IP addresses. They will configure uh, the firewall in which your data will come into that particular system, how you are connecting, they will enable the services, they will open the port. All those things can be done by the service providers. Now they will give you the storage according to your need. They will provide you the storage. They means how many GB you required for your storage, they will provide you, and it is taken care by the cloud service provider. Now next come servers, means they will provide you the uh, memory, the RAM, and they will provide you the processor. So they will provide you the RAM and the processor according to your requirement, and at last they will provide you the virtualization application by which you can make your virtual machine. So they will provide you this virtualization uh, uh, method by which you can create your virtual machine. So ultimately, if I want to point it out that what is infrastructure as a service, so I can say that the cloud service provider will provide you the hardwares. Hardware means the physical resources. So cloud service provider will provide you physical resources along with networking, right? So the physical resources along with networking will be provided by the cloud service providers. Now, what is your responsibility? Now, your responsibility is to install the operating system, what you require, install the middleware, whatever is your requirements are, it is attached to the operating system. Then you have to install the runtime software, whatever you require, and you have to put the data if you want to process those data, and you have to install and manage those applications which you want to use. So all these things will be managed by you. From here to here will be managed by you, and the cloud service provider will give you this part, means they will give you the hardware along with networking, means they will give you a machine, like once you purchase the machine. So if you purchase the machine, they will provide you the machine means the physical resource, and then you have to install your software, then middleware, the runtime applications, or data you want to put, or different other applications if you want to use, you have to put there. So this is infrastructure as a service. So I think I am clear with infrastructure as a service, right? Now let's go to another service which is called platform as a service. And infrastructure service is popular amongst firms, right? Among firms means, let's say there are some private companies, and these private company need the infrastructure. So they are not going to buy those infrastructure. Instead, they will rent the infrastructure from the cloud. Yes. So these rental thing of the physical resources will be done in terms of infrastructure as a service. So one thing, the firm required it, or if you have the resource requirement, like if you want to make a virtual machine, and in that virtual machine you want to do something related to, let's say, the data sciences, or you want to learn that how we can do the virtualization, and how we can put the software in the virtual machine, and how we can run, and how we can visualize all those things. If you want to do that, you can use infrastructure as a service. So these services you can use from the cloud. I have the list of service infrastructure service provider. We'll see in the next slide that what are those. Now come to the second part, which is called platform as a service. Now, platform as a service, in that the cloud service provider will give you from networking to storage to servers, virtualization, operating system, middleware, and runtime. It will be the headache of the cloud service provider. Means if you want the platform as a service, they will give you all these things and they will manage it. Now, what is your responsibility? If you have specific application to install, you can do that, or you can have any data, then you can put those data into the cloud. So that thing actually you can do, and you can do the processing and all with all these resources. So if you are doing that, means you are using the platform as a service. So they will give you the platform. Runtime is, let's say you are a coder, okay, and you want the environment where I'll code. So what I required for that, I required the data to put. They will give you all the applications and all to make a runtime environment, and the platform as a service is very popular among developers. Okay. Now let's go to the last service, which is provided by the cloud service provider, which is called software as a service. So in the software as a service, all the from the application to networking is a headache of the cloud service provider. You just have to use those applications, you just have to use those data and all. So what are the different applications of software as a service? As I told you, if I am in the oracle.com, I just log in there and I just want to use the SQL queries, I want to create the database and all, I can do that very easily. I can do that with the help of cloud, which is provided by Oracle. If I don't want to do that, so I have to install that software in my machine, and I and take the license and I'll use it, right? So the software as a service is very popular among firms who don't want to purchase the expensive software, who don't want to purchase the licensing for the expensive software. Why? What is the reason? The reason is, if you want to purchase, let's say if we'll talk about Oracle, let's talk about Oracle. If we'll purchase the Oracle, let's say Oracle 10G or 11G for your institute, and you have taken the license of, let's say, 50 user and 100 user at a time. So do you think that after 2 years I don't require to update it? Yeah, I have to update it. I have to update the licensing, I have to update the software. So previously we have 8i, 7i, 9i, and then 10G came, then 11G, and so definitely the software is updating day by day. And if you required to update your software, then you have to pay for that. You have to pay for the licensing. You have to maintain the software. So why company will take so many headaches? Instead, they will take the software as a service from those product companies. They will use the software according to their requirement, and they will pay the money whatever they use it. So it is very what we can say, very cost effective way of borrowing the software from the customer side as well as from the service provider side, means the software as a service provider. This is one application. If we'll talk about another application, let's say people plays the game. It is very popular nowadays, PUBG, right? So in the PUBG, do you think that all those complex uh, battlegrounds are in the mobile phone? They are installed in the mobile phone? No, not at all. Instead, they will give you a thin client application to install in your mobile phone. Use your mobile phone for login. If you log in into the cloud of the PUBG and you'll use it. Yes, so that thing we actually do with the help of software as a service. If we'll take another example, use Gmail, right? Or use any type of mailing services. Means you are you are using software as a service. Your Google Drive, if you are using it, it means you are using software as a service. Means they will provide you the software, you'll the storage and all, and they will give you the interface. And you are using that. Okay, so that thing you are doing actually. So you can visualize the software as a service in that way. So I think these three things is clear to all of you. Let's talk about different service provider which will provide it. Let's say if we'll talk about software as a service, so it is provided by all these companies like Salesforce.com, which is very much popular among the companies which provide the CRM applications, management applications. Okay, then we have Microsoft Office 365. We don't have to what you can take the licensing of it. If you just register there, and based on just let's say in my institute we have this Microsoft Office 365. In that, the updation will be done automatically. So it is not like if you're using, let's say, Microsoft 98, Microsoft 2004, Microsoft 2010, and then the next generation came, right? So Microsoft, instead, they will provide you this 365. It is a software as a service. You will install all those and it will update till your licensing will be there up to that. So it is a good example of software as a service. Then we have a box, Google Apps, Amazon Web Services. It will provide you Concur, Zendex, Dropbox, or Google Drive, you can say. All those comes under software as a service. Come to platform as a service. I told you what is platform as a service. Platform as a service is very much popular among developers who will develop the software, who do not bother about what type of um, means inside runtime application we are using. They just want to have a machine, a good quality and a high quality machine where they can do, they can use them. Let's say in the field of data scientist, where we have data scientists available, they will work on a huge amount of data. So the laptop is not going to work there, or their high-end desktop is not going to work there. They have to take the advantage of those high resource machines, and high resource machine you can get from these clouds, because it is unlimited, right? If I want to configure, let's say, 64 GB of memory, so if I want to purchase a machine of 64 GB of memory, it is next to means imagine it is the cost is almost 2 lakh 3 lakhs rupees. Why I'll purchase that? If you want this a machine with let's say 16 core processor, it is the cost is very high. And if I need to work on those huge amount of data, and I want to work as a software this data scientist, I have to process big amount of data, and I want the result as soon as possible. So that's why this platform as a service is very popular among developers. So we have different service providers, like in the Amazon Web Service we have Elastic, Benstack. This is a platform as a service. The name is Elastic, means it will it will increase or decrease the resources based on your requirement. Okay. Then we have Salesforce, Microsoft AG, Logjump, Software AG Longjump, Microsoft Azure, IBM Bluemix, Red Hat OpenShift. These are the company and these are the services, uh, uh, separate services provided by this. VMware is providing Pivotal CF. Google is providing App Engine, right? So all those companies are providing platform as a service by different names. Okay. Let's go to infrastructure as a service. So we have different company which will provide infrastructure as a service, like DigitalOcean, IBM Cloud, Amazon AWS, Amazon Web Services, Azure, Microsoft Azure. Then we have OpenStack, Rackspace, VMware, Red Hat. All these companies provide infrastructure as a service. Now let's talk about, so I have given the list. These are the final list of top 12, 13 cloud service provider we have. So in very top, we have Amazon Web Services. And you all, I think in the lockdown, you all have gone through the different video streaming platform like Netflix and all. So actually, Netflix works under Amazon Web Services. So it is taking the advantage of cloud, these company, Netflix. And once they have shifted from its own server to the Amazon Web Services, their quality has been increased. They can accommodate millions of customer at a time. They can give the service and it is very good. And many companies are moving around that. And then when this Amazon Web Service, when the Netflix came into the cloud of Amazon Web Services, or came into the cloud of Amazon, so Amazon also come in the idea, why not we make the video streaming uh, software. So they come up with Amazon Prime Video and that. So this is how the growth of the technology is growing the the revenue of these companies. So Microsoft Azure is another cloud service provider. Google Cloud Platform, we have seen yesterday related to IoT, right? Google Firebase we have seen, right? So cloud, IBM Cloud, Rackspace, GoDaddy, Version Cloud, VMware, Oracle Cloud, DigitalOcean, Red Hat. We know Red Hat with because of the Linux software, but Red Hat is a very big company which is giving the services of developing private cloud to many state government here in India. Mega Cloud, e-commerce, all these are the different service providers in India which are working. Let's talk about deployment model, means how we can make a cloud. Let's say I want to create a cloud, or I want to create a cloud infrastructure. So what are the different development methods? Okay, so the first development methods in the cloud is called public cloud. So what is public cloud? So we know that all five essential characteristics should be there with the cloud. And what is public cloud? So public cloud is public to all, means anybody in the world can use the cloud computing services from the public cloud. Okay, like I have given the name of all the companies, all those companies comes under public cloud service provider. Now if we see what is public cloud is, so it is written very clearly. the cloud infrastructure is provided for open use by the general public. So it is open to the public, right? It may be owned, managed, and operated by a business, academy, or government organization, or some combination of them. It exists on the premises of the cloud service provider. So this public cloud is with the cloud service provider. Let's say if we talk about Amazon Web Services. So if I'm using Amazon Web Services public cloud, so those resources, means those servers, those hardwares are there in their premises. It is not with me, and it is open to all, so anybody can use it. It is public, and it is managed by them. I am not managing it, right? Let's talk about another cloud service provider, which is called private cloud. Okay, what is private cloud? So definitely the name suggests private. So private means it is private to some firm, some company. Okay, so let's say I want to make a private cloud for my company. So I'll have the infrastructure with me, and means infrastructure. Okay, so it is like that. The infrastructure may be locally or may not be locally. The infrastructure means the physical resources, but those resources are dedicated for your company. So if, let's say, I'll call Amazon Web Services to my institute, and I'll say that I need the private cloud for my institute. Okay, so what they will do, they will dedicate some sort of servers, which is obviously remotely over somewhere, and they will manage the hardware, but those hardware are working for me, working for my firm. Means all the resources of those hardware is dedicated to me. Means other companies or other people cannot use that particular resource. So that is private cloud. Okay, let's see what it says. The cloud infrastructure is provided for exclusive use by a single organization comprising multiple consumers. So definitely in one organization we have different consumers or business unit. It may be owned, managed, and operated by the organization, a third party, or some combination of them. It may exist on or off premises. So as I told you, there is the possibility that the private cloud is in your premises and you are managing it, or the private cloud is off premises or other company or the third party is managing for you. So in my institute, I have created a private cloud, and for that we have purchased an infrastructure, and these infrastructure has been configured for the cloud, and we have created it with the help of what you can say, a package which is called OpenStack. So OpenStack is a package. It will give you a facility to create your own cloud. So if you have the expertise in your institute, you want to make the private cloud for your students, for your faculty usage, you can create it, but it requires a lot of time, a lot of expertise to create private cloud in the institute. Okay, so we are, I think, some of the few institute who have created the private cloud by our own, and it's very good, because people are, if they want to use the public cloud, let's say they want to use Amazon and all, you might have faced the problem that it is asking for the credit card detail or the Visa card detail. So it is not free. Let me tell you, it is not free. Amazon Web Services will give you some free services, which is free for 1 year. And there are some slots that these are the resources that you can use for free. But these service providers, even though they are public service providers, but they will not give you the services as free. They will charge you. So if you have the private cloud infrastructure in your premises, definitely it will help the students who want to do some research work, who want to do their project work in the premises, as well as for the faculty who want to use the resources of the cloud, they can use it. So private cloud concept is very good. Now, what is the difference between public cloud and private cloud? Let's say we have a company and I want to use the cloud facility. So definitely, if you'll go for the public cloud, your cost will be less. And if you want to use private cloud, your cost will be high. It is very much understood. Why? Because public cloud is public to all, and in that particular infrastructure, your data will be there and public other data will be there. But you are a company, you don't want to disclose your data to and you don't want to disclose the disclose your sensitive.
Sir, please unmute.
So if you want to have some sensitive data, some you want to make the data secure, so definitely you will not go for the public cloud. You will use the private cloud. So let me tell you, in our Odisha government, they are using private cloud facility, and the Red Hat and the VMware come together, and they have created the private cloud for the Odisha government, and it is managed by the Odisha government. Once they have done that, and they are helping the Odisha government people to maintain the private cloud. The infrastructure is on premises, means in Odisha, and but who have created it? The Red Hat and VMware. They have created the private cloud for the government of Odisha, and government of Haryana also, they have their own private cloud. I think Tamil Nadu, maybe Telangana, they are also having the private cloud with them. So all the e-government infrastructure, their website, their data, everything is there in the private cloud. Okay. Now come to another cloud. Why we use private cloud, right? So definitely security is a big concern. So security is the concern. That's why we use private cloud. Now come to the community cloud. Community cloud is a cloud infrastructure in which maybe some 3-4 companies or 5-6 companies, they are working in the same project, and they want to use the cloud infrastructure. So in that case, these 4-5 companies are looking for a infrastructure in such a way so that these companies employee who are working in the same project can work together, and they will make a community cloud. So here it is a public to 7 companies, but it is private to 7 companies, you can say. So this is an example of community cloud. Come to hybrid cloud. In nowadays, hybrid cloud is very much gaining the what you can popularity. The reason is people are looking for efficient solution. Means companies do not want to waste their money everything to create private cloud in the name of security, right? So they have come up with the idea of hybrid cloud, and many cloud service provider is providing the hybrid cloud. What happened in that? What is the concept is that to reduce the cost. Let's say I want to put my essential data in a private cloud so that it will be secure. And if we have some unessential data or some non-critical data, I want to put into the public cloud. So in that way, if I am using the public cloud, the cost is less, as I told you. If I use the private cloud, the cost is high. So to maintain the cost, company are looking for hybrid solutions. So in the hybrid solution, the public and the private concept has been mixed up, and here the AI or a machine learning comes into the picture, they will differentiate between essential data and non-essential data, means critical data and non-critical data. So they will differentiate between these two type of data, and people have many companies have come up with hybrid cloud. So I have seen a video of Dell EMC. They have doing research in hybrid cloud, how we can make hybrid cloud more efficient to the customers. So in that aspect, research is going on in hybrid cloud. I'll quickly show you the diagram related to all these different type of cloud. This is how the public cloud look like. We have a cloud, and the users are outside the cloud, and it means that publicly they can use it. Here in the private cloud, the users are inside the cloud, means insider only can use it. Outsider, there is a block, access is blocked. Come to the community cloud. Here many organizations are using it. So it is like organization 1, A, B or C, they are using it. So inside and outside is the phenomena on that. And here comes the hybrid cloud. In that we have the combination of public cloud and on-site private cloud. So this is how you can have in hybrid cloud. Okay, so this is it related to cloud. It's different characteristics, it's different services and different deployment models. Okay, now as I told you yesterday that all of you come with the Amazon account. Okay, so if you are not done the Amazon account with you and you have not created the Amazon account, it doesn't matter. What you have to do is you just open pen and paper, and whatever I am doing with the cloud, you can just see that. Okay, so what I am going to do, let me tell you. I am going to create virtual machines into the cloud, which is Amazon Web Services. Amazon Web Services is also called AWS. It will provide you the facility of infrastructure as a service. We are going to use infrastructure as a service of Amazon Web Services. And what I'll do, I'll create a virtual machine in the Amazon Web Services, and I'll use it. How I'll use it, how I'll create it, I'm just showing you shortly. So you all be ready with the pen and paper, and I'll go in a normal way, in a not very slow, not very fast, in a normal way I'll go to show you that how we can create.
वोट ऑफ थैंक्स आप बोल दें, और सर वोट ऑफ थैंक्स के साथ बोलना सर कि सर्टिफिकेट विल बी प्रोवाइडेड विद इन अ वीक. हम लोग दे देंगे ना विद इन अ वीक. हाँ, करने चालू कर
देंगे. Yes, you are saying something,
है ना? ठीक, ओके.
Shall we start?
Sir?
Shall we start?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, sir. Start, sir.
Okay. So what you have to do is you have to go for Amazon Web Services, AWS. Okay. So you have to use aws.amazon.com. You just open aws.amazon.com. Once you open it, it will ask you for sign in. Okay, so you have to go to sign in to the console. Okay, once you open aws.com, you have to go to sign into the console. Now click the sign in to the console, that is the button in the in here. Okay, so I think I have already signed in, so it is not asking for me. So if you haven't signed in, it will ask you to sign in, and you will come in this particular window. In this particular window will come. Here at the top left, you will have services. So if you can see, we have services. So all these are the services. If you see, all these are the services provided by AWS. It is of different cluster. So if you want to use computing services, you can use any of the services. If you want to use only storage services, you can use any of these services. If you want to use database services, you can use all these services. Okay. So these are all services provided by cloud service providers, which is Amazon Web Service. Now, what you have to do is, we are using here a service called EC2. EC2. If you see here, it is in a computing part, EC2. What is the full form of EC2? It is Elastic Computing Cloud. EC2, Elastic Computing Cloud. This is infrastructure as a service provided by Amazon Web Services. I'm just clicking this. Once I click this, it will take you to the to a window. It is a EC2 dashboard. You have to go to launch an instant button. If you have not used it, so if you'll click the EC2, directly it will take you to the launch instance page. If you are already using it, so first EC2 will take you to your dashboard, and then from here we have to click launch instant. Once we click launch instant, it will take you to a window where we have the facility of creating a virtual machine. Yes, so here comes how we can create the virtual machines. So if you'll see, we are in a step 1. It says that choose an Amazon machine image, AMI, Amazon machine image. An Amazon machine image is a template that contains the software configuration, that is operating system, application server, and application required to launch an instance. You can select an AMI provided by AWS, our user community, or the AWS marketplace, or you can select one of your own AMI. Okay. So these are the different machine images that they will provide you. If you do not want to use it, if you just want to use the infrastructure only in this particular time, so you can go to my AMI. Okay, so here we have different images which we can put in my infrastructure. Okay, so they will give you infrastructure along with networking, but here they will provide you operating system also. Now these are all, means it is a click and go way. Okay, so we have like Amazon Linux to Linux, Red Hat Enterprise, SUSE Linux, then we have Ubuntu server. What you want, you can go ahead. Okay, so let's see, we'll go to the free tiers. Okay, most of them are free tiers, which is written, see, it is written like free tier eligibility. Otherwise you have to pay for it, right? So why to pay? We just want to learn something, right? So we are not bothering about paying. So we have the options like this is the machine, right? It is free tier, and it is a Ubuntu server 18.04 LTS, so that I can use it. Or if you want to use some other free services, so you have like Ubuntu services 16.08, it is older version. So why use older version? Let's go to the higher version of it. So here this particular machine I want to create, so I'll just select it. Let's select. Now once I select it, it will give me another window where I can choose the memory. Memory means my RAM. Okay, this is the RAM size. So up to 32 you can use here you have the, yeah, here 64 you can use, 120, 192, 256, 384. So you cannot imagine actually to use 384 RAM size in your machine. That is only possible in the cloud. Okay, it is not at all possible physically. So physically, I haven't seen any machine with 384 GB of RAM or 256 GB of RAM or 192 or even 128. Even in different machines, in different laptop, high-end laptop, we don't have 64 GB of RAM. We have 32 GB of RAM in a high-end laptop. So it is very good, right? But we are looking for free tier here. So it is the category of free tier where I'll get 1 core of CPU and 1 GB of memory, right? So I'll just use it. So here if you see at the bottom, you have a previous, you can review and launch, and you can go to next configure instant detail. If you'll click review and launch, so that is also possible, but I want to show you some more things. So we'll go to the next configure instance. I'll just click the next configure instance. Now here if you'll say number of instance, here the meaning of instance is virtual machine. So how many virtual machine you require? Okay, here it is like that. So we required one instance of that, one virtual machine only. The networking is there. Subnet, we don't have any preference. This is a default, right? Virtual private network configuration. This VPC is default one. I don't have to do anything here. Auto assign public IP. So whatever IP I use to connect to this machine is public. I don't have to bother about it. Then capacity reservation is open. IMA role, create an IMA role. So what do you mean by IMA? Is identity access management. Okay, so what is IMA? IMA is just like if you are using you are using a laptop or your desktop in the lab. So for using that, we have different users, right? We have some, let's say my name, some guests are there, let's say some other faculty are there. So they have different made the configuration according to the users. So here also, if you want to create in your virtual machine different users, you can do that. Then shutdown behavior. What is shutdown behavior? Let's say if you have shut down your machine, so what will be done? So here, either there are many options, like you can stop or you can terminate. So if you are stopping that, then means your virtual machine is off. Is off means is shut down. But if you are shut downing and you do terminate, it means once you shut down your machine, the machine will be terminated and no more exist. So terminate means no more existence of your machine. Means if you want, you have created the machine and you want to delete the machine, so you use terminate. Then we have all different options. We have L2, L3 unlimited. Here it is elasticity. Do you want to increase your resources, or you don't want to increase your resources? If you enable it, so it is written additional charges may apply, because you are using the free tier of 1 GB and 1 core of CPU. If you want to increase it, so definitely they will charge you. So don't enable it, because the charge will be applied here. And then we'll go to the next step is add storage. So it comes with the 8 GB of storage. If you want to increase, you can increase up to 30 GB. 30 GB it is free for 1 year in Amazon Web Services. So you can increase this size to 30 GB. It is up to you. Okay, 8 GB is the minimum size they will provide you, and they will provide you SSD, solid state hard drive they will give you, which generally use in Apple computers. And if you want to create instance, so how many instance you can create? Let's say 8, 8, 8. So it will be 24. And then if you want to again use 8, so you have to pay for 2 GB. What is 2 GB? The 2 GB is your yeah, 2 GB is extra because it is 32 if you want to create 4 instance, right? So for 2 GB you have to pay money. So be careful in that. So we have created for, we'll create for 8 GB. There is no problem. We are not doing much thing here. Now add tags, it is one more resources where we can add tags. Add tags means if you have many instances, you can add a tag, and if you want to update anything, it will be update on that virtual machine which you want to tag. So let's say I have tagged it. Let's say I have 4 machines, so I'll tag it like T1, T2, T3, and T4. If you want to update anything, it will ask in which particular instant you want to update. So you, at that time, this tag will help you to differentiate between all your instances. So here we are not, we are just creating one, so we doesn't have to add anything. Next come to configure security groups. So if you want to access your virtual machine, so we have a default way to use SSH. So we'll use SSH, secured secure socket. So we'll use that to connect to the machine. Okay. And if you want to add some rule, you can add it. Let's say you want to create a website and you want to upload the website there. So how you will connect it? So definitely you will connect it with HTTP. So you just add another type is HTTP that you can add here. So if you just choose HTTP, it is coming like HTTP TCP HTTP, that is protocol is TCP, port number is 80, source. And here if you see here, it is saying that which source you want to use. Do you want to custom it? Means in which computer you want to connect your virtual machine. So that computer IP address you have to give. Okay. So if you don't want to give it, it will be 0000. It means you can use these virtual machines from anywhere in the world. So that's why there is a warning also. The warning says that rule with source 0000 allow all IP addresses to access your instance. We recommended setting security group rule to allow access from known IP address only. So if you want to do that, you can do that, because we are not using for critical data, so it doesn't have to bother about it. So we just use SSH, which is a secured secured shell. So if you want to connect it, we'll use the secured shell to connect it. Now review and launch. So here it is a review that what is your operating system, how much memory and CPU, what are the port that should be open. So it is all those ports that should be open, and then we'll do the launch. Okay. Now go to the launch. Now at the time of launch, they will ask you to choose the key pair. Okay, that is very critical step of Amazon Web Services. So you have to be careful here. Now whatever I am telling you, you just write it down. So here it is saying choose an existing key pair, and there is an option create a new key pair. So always we go for, if we are creating a new instance, we'll go for create a new key pair. I want a new key pair for that. So I'll just do that, and I'll write the key pair name. Okay, so I'll write the key pair name like FDP. I'll write FDP, and I'll write test, FDP underscore test. Okay, now after that you have to download that key pair. Download the key pair. Now I have downloaded the key pair. The key pair is with me in the download section. And after that, what I'll do is I'll just launch instant. So I'll just click launch instant. So once I do this, this instant will be launched. So it says that your instance are now launching. The following instance launches has been initiated. This is the instant ID that they have given. View launch log, it is saying. Instead, you just go to the service again. Go to the service and go to your service. What is EC2? Come to EC2. After that, you go to the EC2 dashboard. So here it is, the first option, EC2 dashboard. Once you click this window will open. And in this window, if you'll see here, at very bottom, you will find service health dashboard. So here it will tell us that what is the health of your virtual machine. So you see where your virtual machine is, it is in Mumbai. Your virtual machine, what is the region? It is in Mumbai. So your virtual machine is in Mumbai. It is not with locally with you, it is there somewhere. As I told you, somewhere some computing resources are there, that is called cloud. So I have created a cloud. Now, so I'll go for my running instance. So if I'll click the running instance, it will show me where my cloud is, right? So here is my cloud, and this is running. The status is running right now. A status check, it is initializing my cloud. It is initializing actually. And yeah, and if you'll see here, we have some detail. FDP test is the key name that I have created. Monitoring disabled, it is the default way. What is the security group is launch wizard 6 is a security group. Now come to the bottom way. Here we have the description about this particular instance. What is the description? Description here it is. So let me tell you, every instance that will create will have two IP addresses. One is called public IP, another is called private IP. So every instance will have two IP. If you see here, this one is the private IP. This private IP means we cannot access this IP from outside instance, okay? And we have public IP here. So this public IP we can actually use for this particular instance to connect. The public IP is useful. So you can make a copy of the public IP. So I just copy it. Later on, I'll use it. And there is some DNS. It is written. DNS is there. 172.31.35.42 is the DNS, and yeah. So all these things are there related to your, and you have to just bother about this public IP. What is the use of private IP? The use of private IP is, let's say you have created 4 or 5 instances, and these instances want to work with each other or want to talk to each other, right? So at that particular time, this private IP will comes into the picture. Okay, I find some disturbance. You can mute all, and I can again on. Okay, now the thing is that where we are, we have created one instance. We have seen what is private IP and what is public IP. Now we'll go for the connection. So how we'll connect it? Now go for the go open your terminal. So this is the terminal that I have opened. Okay, so I am in the terminal, and where I am right now. Yeah, so I am in the terminal. I am in the downloads. Okay. So inside the downloads, if you are not in your download where your key is, so you have to go to that particular folder. I am already in this particular folder. I don't have to go it. So I am in the download right now, and because here my key is okay, my key is here. After that, what I'll do is I'll use yeah, so I'll just want to connect it. So how I'll connect my instance? I'll collect and I'll go for a command called SSH minus I means your what hyphen I, and then I'll write the key name. What is the key name? So the key name is FDP, I have written FDP underscore and I have written test. So let me see whether the spelling is correct or not. So I'll just go to the download folder here. In my download folder, you can see here we have a key is FDP underscore test. T is capital. So I'll just write it down. T is capital underscore FDP underscore test, and its extension is PEM is already there. Then I want to connect to that particular IP address. So what is the username you have? So default username is Ubuntu. You have Ubuntu default username, and yeah, so is a big one. So Ubuntu is the default username, and then at the rate, I'll just write just copy paste the IP address. So I'll just paste the IP address. This is the IP address. It is a public IP that I have used, right? Now I'll just make it enter. Now you say that the authentication of host, that is 15.206.170.111. This is my instance IP address, cannot be established. ECDSA key fingerprinting is SHA 256, means what is the key that has been given, means the key is FDP underscore test is my key, right? So what they will do is they will create a hash value for that, and next time I don't have to use the key again. So next time what I'll do for connecting it, I'll just write SSH hyphen I Ubuntu at the rate my IP address, which is a public IP address. I don't have to use FDP underscore test dot em again. If I don't want to use this, I'll write yes. So I'll make a hash key there, and that hash key will be used afterwards. So whenever I do this hash key again later on, it will be useful. It is saying that permission, yeah, it need the permission to open it. So it is required that your private key file are not accessible by others. This private key will be ignored. So what we have to do is we have to change the mode of this particular file. So I have to change the mode because it is a permission denied. Some other people want to use my key, that I have to change. So what I'll do is I'll just change the mode, ch mode. I'll just do 400, means I just want to access to read, not write, not execute. That's why it is 00. 4 is for reading purposes, and just I'll write the name of the file. The name of the file is FDP underscore test.pem is my file name. I'll just enter it. So now what will happen? Now my file can be read by that particular instance, and again I have to write the same command, that is SSH -i FDP test pem Ubuntu and the IP address. When I do that, yes, so now if you see my system is connected. So if you see at the very bottom I got in a green color. So I got here as a green color, means I have connected to 172.131.75.42. What is this? This is my instance. Okay, so this is my, what is it? What is the private IP? 172.31.35.46. So we have reached the instance. This is how, that's why we need two IP addresses. So one IP address to connect, another IP address will work inside the instance. So I have reached to this private IP right now. So let's come to the terminal again. I have reached this private IP, and now I can do anything because I have reached to my IP, so that I can do anything. Here it is showing something. Here processes 86 processes. Memory usage is 15%. You have a usage of the memory. It is 7.69 GB, which is left. Okay, that's all. So this is how it is. Okay. Now what we do here is let's say I have my virtual machine and I want to put some let's say I want to put my website there. Okay, I want to launch my website there. So how I'll do that? Okay, let's see how I can launch or I can put my website there. Okay, so let's see one by one that how it works. So first of all, whenever you come into the virtual machine, you update the virtual machine. So for updating it, we have the command sudo and then apt dash get or hyphen get and update. So it will update your operating system, right? So that we do in Ubuntu, right? If I want to update the operating system, I'll do that. So sudo apt hyphen get update. Now when I'll click it, it is going to update everything in my virtual machine. So whatever is happening, it is happening in Ubuntu system, which is my virtual system somewhere in Mumbai. Getting it? Now come here again. What we want to do is now next we'll install a web servers, because to launch any website I need the web server, right? So Ubuntu doesn't have the default web server like Windows has IIS. So in Ubuntu we doesn't have to, we have to install a virtual machine there. So we'll install the virtual machine. So let's say sorry, virtual machine, I'm talking about web server. So I will install the web server. So you just have to write sudo apt get install and nginx. Okay, so nginx is a web server which is lightweight web server used in Ubuntu type of operating system. So I am just using that. So I'll do sudo apt hyphen get install nginx. So it is asking, do you want to install it? I'll say yes, I want to install it, and then it will install these web server into my virtual machine. So let me tell you, the net speed in virtual machine is very high, very high, and the bandwidth is very good. So if you, let's say if you doesn't have a good uh, mm, good internet connection or good bandwidth with you, you just open your virtual machine and then do whatever you want to do. So it is very good. Now what we'll do is we'll just configure with the system. So we'll do sudo system ctl and nginx. Okay, sudo systemctl and ngx. It will be now configured unknown operation. Okay, wait a minute. So why it is not working? Okay, so we have to write another thing. We have to start. Yeah, so you have to write sudo systemctl start and nginx. Okay, so now it has been started. So my nginx, which I have installed, now I have started it. Okay, so if you want to see what is happening, so I have started a web server in my virtual machine. So now I want to check it. So how I'll check it? My web service is on or not. So go to the browser. So now I'm going to the browser. I'm opening a new tab and I'm just putting the IP address of my virtual machine. So what is my IP address? It is there. So what is the public IP? 15.206.170.111. So that is there, right? So 15.206.170.111. I'll just do that. Now here it is saying welcome to Nginx. So now my web server is installed and working there. So that thing you can also do that. So if you write this IP address with AWS, we have your instance which is running, right? So now what we can do is we can create one more instance, and now we'll create a Windows operating system, and means we'll create an instance with Windows operating system. So what we do here is, because let me tell you what I am doing, this is because your Windows operating system will take 30 GB of memory, and there is no provision that we can memorize it. Sorry, 30 GB of storage. So because your free service is up to 30 GB, that's why I am terminating the instance that I have created. So now for you, I'll just create uh, an instance of Windows operating system. So what I'll do is I'll just put in going into the launch. Let's go into the launch. Now after that, you just have this Microsoft Web Server 2019 base, which is a free tier version of it. Now we'll just make it select. Now in this, if you'll see, we have a general tier where we have 1 GB of like that, and after that we can go for the next step. Next step is your review and launch. Okay, you don't have to go to the configuration instance and all. If you want, you can go it, right? Configuration instance, so it is same as the previous one that is there. Add storage, it is, if you'll see, the size is 30 GB. If you can able to see that size, previously it was 30 GB, so we cannot reduce it. So it is not going to you can have only Windows operating system of one instance if you want to make a free tier, or you can make 8 GB of up to 3 instance of Ubuntu, that is free. Then we'll do review and launch. Now here these are all thing that is there. Now we'll do to launch. Now at the time of launch, it will again ask you to key pair. Okay, so we'll not use the previous key pair. I'll use the current key pair. So for that, I'll just give the name FDP underscore, that is for window, right? So I'll just give window, WINDOW. Okay, and just I download the key pair. So what I have done here is I have downloaded the key pair. The key pair means this FDP underscore download the window. The key is downloaded. Now I'll go for launch instance. Now my instance has been launched. Now if you want to see your instance, you go to EC2 and go to the dashboard of EC2. Yeah, so we are in the dashboard of EC2. If you'll see running instant, it is showing 0 because to configure Windows image in the newly created virtual machine, it will take some time. Okay, so meanwhile if you want to go, you can see what is the status of your virtual machine. So again, your virtual machine is there in Mumbai. Status of the operating system is normal. Everything is normal here. It is again showing you 0. It will take maybe some short of time. Volume is nothing but your memory size, the storage size. So the storage size is 30 GB, right? So if you'll click into the volume, you'll just find it out that the storage size is 30 here. Yeah, so this storage size which is showing here is 30 GB of storage that you have created. Okay, go to the AC dashboard again. Yeah, now if you'll find out, there is a running instance. So now your instance is running here. So we find a running instance. The previous one is terminated already, which is your Linux. Now we'll click into that. We'll find out the detail of your running instance. So you'll find out the IP address here. This is the IP address, right? You have the private IP here. This is the private IP, and you have the public IP here of your Windows instance that you have created, Windows virtual machine that you have just created. Now go to the button connect. Okay, now if you are going to the button connect, you will find out download remote desktop file. So if you want to connect the Windows operating system, so other than the secured shell, which is SSH, which we use in Ubuntu and other Linux operating system, for Windows operating system to connect, we'll use remote desktop connection. Okay, so for that we have to download a remote desktop file. That file will be used for remote desktop connection. So what I'll do is I'll just download remote desktop file. So one remote desktop file has been installed in my download. So if you see this download here in the download folder, here you will find it out. So what is this one? So this .rdp, if you can see .rdp, this particular is the remote desktop file. It is required. So let's go to again to my virtual machine. After that, we have a button called get password. Okay, what is that password? That password is of your Windows operating system. I need the password of my Windows operating system. Okay, so that's why I need get password. So I'll click the get password here. Now what it is saying, it is saying that your key name is fdp_window.pem. Now you specify the path of this key pair. Now what I'll do is I'll choose the file, because my file is there in my downloads. So what is that? This is fdp_window.pem. I'll just choose it and open it. After opening the file, this is the file which is a key file, and after that I'll decrypt the password. So there is a button called decrypt password. I'll just click the decrypt password and the password will be decrypted. This is the password of my machine. So if you see, this is the password of my machine. So I'll just make a copy of this. So I copied my password because that password is very much important, and I'll put in some file. So I'll just open a file, because if I forgot the password, I cannot connect it. Now I copied the file here and I'll just save it. Okay, I'll just save later. Now after that I'll close it. So what is showing is here showing public DNS. Username is administrator, and what is the password of my virtual machine? This is the password. So I have copied it. Now I'll close this. So where I'll get there? Connect is the button which will do all those things. Okay, now after that you go to the file. Which file? The RDP file, that is remote desktop connection file. So the file is in the yeah, this is the file. So this is RDP file. This file I'll just open. Before that, remote desktop connection software should be there with you in your operating system, whatever operating system you are using, whether you are using Linux, whether you are using what Mac or whatever, or Windows, whatever operating system you are using, in your system, you should have a software called remote desktop connection. So I have a remote desktop connection software with me. So for that, I don't have to do anything. I don't have to install it. I'll just double click this particular file. I'll just click this particular file. Once this file will go, saying that once this file will be open, it will say that you are connected to RDP, remote desktop protocol host, and this is the host name. Your connection may not be secure. Do you want to continue? So if I'll say continue, it will take me to my system. Now it is asking for the password. So because I have copied the password, I'll just paste it. So this is the password that I have just pasted it, and I'll just make it continue. Once I'll do continue, my virtual machine, which is in the form of, okay, so right now I am in the machine, which is a virtual machine. Now I can do anything, right? This is my machine, and the memory is 1 GB. You remember here it is shown, the memory is 1 GB. And so now this is my browser, right? So I can open it, and I can go for google.com. Yes. Okay, so Google is open. Now I open myself, Suraj Sharma, politely Ganeshwar. What it is. So yeah, so now you can see this is my site. So this particular window is virtual window, right? I think you all got understood that this is the window which I have created.